Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, and was so involved with that, and took the opportunity working with Turner Broadcasting to produce something that really honors all levels of what we've done against all odds. It's really what it's about. So anywhere from a Sidney Poitier, Lena Horne to current day, Beyonce, or then there might be a religious leader. It could be someone in business that's done incredibly well. But it's always something about honoring where we come from and also giving. So that was my biggest honor. So that was my Oscar. And you're in that audience. There's like it's televised all over the world, but in that audience, there's thousands of people looking at you. Mostly all black faces looking up at you, all dressed up and smiling. So getting past that feeling of like, wow, all these people, and I've got to go up on the stage. I just did my thing, and I figured out how to do it, and it worked well.
Well, I'm so proud of you again. I am.
Yeah, and I saved my mom to last, because if I had said something about she was sharing with me in the beginning, I would have been all tear-jerked. So I said, no, let me try to get through this. But I shared it with her, so that was her surprise.
That's good. That's
good.
And I imagine you've had a lot of memorable things happen so far in this journey, Synthia. That's a wonderful thing to be able to have in your life with your gift. So that's wonderful.
You know what, it truly is, but as I said about being a gift from God, it's true that because, I'm self-taught. So it's not anything that I particularly learned. I learned by trial and error and trying and figuring out and making mistakes and getting better. Yeah, so to be honored in your lifetime for what you've always wanted to do is just, that alone is incredible.
So you've never gone to, had official training in any way to do all this beautiful work that you've done?
No, I haven't.
Wow. Wow.
No, I haven't had any of that, As I mentioned before, because my family really felt that I needed to be in liberal arts education because, like I said, in the 60s, what little girl or a little black woman is going to make a living as an artist? Right. So I have an incredible left side of the brain. I've always done accounting. I had a tax business, you name it. I've done all kinds of other work. But all the other work helps me in what I do. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
it really does.
So whose art motivates you when you want to go view art and get inspired and rejuvenated? Who do you go see, or who do you have in your special personal place? Well,
the first time was really back in 1980. I had a chance. I used to paint wild and domestic animals, and I was part of an exhibit in Paris. And I had a chance to just go to the Louvre all the time because I love the French Impressionist.
I visited there. I got to visit the Louvre. Wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
It's something you walk in there and you feel like, well, it's like you're almost like, it's not fearful. You're just on such a high.
Yeah. You're in awe,
Yeah, awe is the word, because I saw this Sphinx in there, and I really wanted to kind of touch it, but I knew better. Because it just felt, that room just felt so glowing with that piece.
The whole atmosphere,
Yeah, but I love several artists. I love reading and researching and stories on different artists and films. So I have buddies, my buddies, like Charles Bibbs is a buddy, and we've done 8 collaborations together where we actually worked on the same painting. Definitely love Varnett Honeywood, and then Tina Allen, my friend, was a sculptor. Ernie Barnes was great because his philosophy was great, and I first heard him speak only one time, and then we became friends. It was about 1980, and he explained what he did. He made a place in the world for his art. So that's not taking that laid-back thing where you're going to just wait, somebody's going to bang the door down. So, and going out and pursuing, I've been assertive in creating places. One of the places is all the work I do at nonprofit organizations to help them create a signature piece that they can raise funds That was one idea that I came up with. But it's like consistently thinking about making the place for yourself. You know, not waiting for someone to try to make it for you.
Right.
Right.
Right. Excellent. And I wanted to also ask you, I always felt, you know, what you see, what you wake up and see and what you have around you makes a difference. Psychologically speaking, how do you feel colors and beautiful aesthetics affect our everyday life?
Oh, incredible. It has I learned from some friends, and now I do have quite a bit of work in different hospitals. It has a healing effect. It not only makes you, for instance, for me, my first exhibition in '77, I didn't have as much work, so all my work was outside of my little apartment. And I started feeling low. It's like, okay, enough of that. So I went and collected all my art a day before the show closed. I just got a car and put all my art and brought it back home. But on another level, one of my friends' grandson had Down syndrome, and she told me years ago that the only time he wouldn't cry is if he was in a room with my art.
Wow.
So there's some extreme kind of things that happen. And one piece I did for a hospital, the premature babies were facing that big painting, and it was of being taken home, a multicultural scene of just being taken home. You know, so yeah. So for me, it's like to wake up in my place and all this art, and I'm so used to it, but it means everything in the world to me. What I wake up in my room and see in my bedroom, that means everything. It's a lot of spiritual pieces there. Right.
Good. Miss Beverly, did you want to jump in there and ask Miss Synthia something or have a comment to make?
Now, see, you know me so well.
I know
I'm over here.
It's killing you, girl. I know it's killing you.
Look, I'm over here about to burst. Because the subject you're touching on is just in color and the aesthetics and all the meaning behind art. It's deeper than painting itself. It's life-giving. And I'm looking at, in addition to all of what Synthia Saint James does, she also blesses Gumbo for the Soul with her art for our book covers. And I'm looking at Gumbo for the Soul, Women of Honor, as it adorns her piece entitled Sisters of Courage. And if you've seen the book cover, all of us have, obviously.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But speaking to the audience, these sisters on this cover are all, you know, headed in the same direction. It's upward. Their shoulders are back. Their hats are up. Their head and they're facing the sky. They're strong. They're facing it. And you can see the strength. You can see. And so I want to know, what is your inspiration behind Sisters of Courage? What were you feeling at that time?
Well, I did 4 pieces around that time. One of them was actually for an organization in Greensboro, North Carolina, and it was, you know, it was really about, it was a group helping women get through bad things that had happened in their life, like battering and whatever. So in my mind, for some reason, I could see it, but I can't tell you the name of it. But I ended up doing 4. I did one, Sisters of Wisdom, Sisters of Courage. And there was one particular one that started it, and who has it in her collection is she's a House of Representative person in Greensboro, Dr. Alma Adams, but she's also a professor at Bennett College. You know, that has that first one. But the thing is that sometimes I don't even realize what I'm doing. But I do know this. I knew that body language says it all.
Yes.
So if you look at something and someone's uplifted and they're looking up and you could tell the strength in their composure, that already is like inspiring to say, I'm there, I can be there. Just, you know, the only painting that I ever had to do that was kind of tough on me, Miss Evers' Boys. Are you familiar with that play? Yeah. So that was about the syphilis in the males and all that. And I had to do that. I didn't have to do it, but I did it for the Mark Taper form. And that was the only time that a painting of mine that people were looking down, because it was sad. The body language, and then I couldn't use as brighter colors because it was a sad thing that was going on. But what was amazing about that to me is that it still comes through enough that back then the Mark Taper form here in Los Angeles is a really big Amazon, the whole theater group downtown, is the only posters they ever sold out of. And they ended up putting something just in the archive. They just had to take it and put it to the archives. So it wasn't, but after reading the research and stuff I did, it's depressing. But it still did what it was supposed to do.
All right.
Yeah, but otherwise I just love color, and that means so much. I think that's what makes us feel good.
I do. I love color, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
And I love in your signature you say in golden light and with love and golden light. Speaking of love and color, I love light energy that it gives, and I noticed that about you as well, loving, not just color but light and speaking, positive in your life. So thank you so much for being a light.
But it's golden healing light. There's something about golden healing light and love that just makes you feel warm.
Yes.
I think I started using that expression when I started walking on the beach for dawn and doing my prayers and affirmations as the sun came up. So there's something about that feeling of dawning,
Wow.
You're a deep-spirited person.
Can picture that.
Can
you feel it?
I know. You know what I'm saying? With the sand, she's walking barefooted, thinking and coming back and just tearing that paper up when she gets back, just doing her thing. I can see you. Just inspired.
Yeah, and and the sun this morning was in painterly terms, cadmium yellow. It was a yellow with a bit of orange in it, and it was just so full and clear when it came up. Some mornings I go down. And I don't live anywhere close. I've just been doing this. I'll be doing this for 8 years in June. But sometimes I'm driving down and I see the full moon and I see it reflecting on the water. And just behind me, the sun is coming up.
Wow.
And I got really spoiled the first time I counted 20 dolphins. There's just so much things about nature and blessings of just looking around and seeing how beautiful this world is as well.
Opening up your eyes, yes, very much so. Very much so. Very much
so.
And, unfortunately, sometimes it takes a tragedy or something defining in someone's life before they get that. So it's wonderful when you get that and you don't have to have experienced something that forces you, you know what I'm saying, to see in the world, to literally smell the roses and to just pay attention, to be aware. That's so often I tell people that I talk to, just be quiet for a while. Just be quiet and listen.
Yes.
Be surprised about all that you see that surrounds you, surrounding you, given to you, in smell, touch, feel, the atmosphere. And, and artists like you and people of creativity are able to bring that out in different ways. And
you have to do that because I love going on the back porch and sitting and watching the birds try to build nests and
and I love seeing all of nature. It's just like seeing all of nature.
Oh my goodness. You guys are talking my language. I'm gonna tell you I love nature so much. Before I moved to my new place where I'm at now, I didn't know where I was going. I was trying to go out to Los Angeles, but I moved out of an apartment. And I used to go out on the balcony, and all of nature would visit this big tree in my balcony. Bees, birds, squirrels, a stick bug, a snail. I'm on the second floor, and I had a snail living in the storage, and he'd come out and go on back in. It was just so much. So I was and then it was I could look across there was a schoolyard, parking lot, church. I could hear, song, children playing, a dog training school. I mean, I just had everything around me. So I was so worried. I said, well, I don't know where I'm moving to.